the live stream of Hot Edition on Facebook and X at 3FM 927. We're also streaming all across the world on 3news.com. Coming up this evening, National Executive Committee and National Council of the governing New Patriotic Party holding crunch meeting to discuss potential running mates for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We'll give you details of how things are playing out at this said meeting with our sources close to the meeting shortly here on Hot Edition also this evening. We're getting some details as National Democratic Congress minority says government must introduce a quota system to import items rather than a blanket restriction. We'll get shortly what Dr. Kesla Toforsing has been talking about at the press conference, which was organized by the NDC Communications Bureau shortly here on Hot Edition. Plus, Parliament establishes a special committee to investigate the non-payment of customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund, that's Black Shield Limited, despite the allocation of funds in the 2020 and 2021 budget. We have details plus the latest in business, sports and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I am Alfred Ocansey. Welcome. Let's get into the details now as news just coming in the case that the National Council of the New Patriotic Party has granted a request from the party's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to name his running mate at a later date other than today. Now, there's a reason why, because according to the NPP Constitution in Article 13, the flag bearer should have announced his running mate 12 clear months before the general election, and tomorrow is exactly December 7, 2023. 4 clear months ahead of, that's 12 clear months ahead of December 7, 2024. Now, the party's constitution states specifically that if the party is in power, the flag bearer of the party should name the running mate 12 clear months ahead of the election. Now, the council has also varied the date for the conduct of the primaries in constituencies with sitting members of parliament. Election will now be held on the 27th of January and not the 20th of January 2024. Meanwhile, campaign activities have been suspended in these constituencies until the budget in parliament is approved. Now, it's a year and a day for Ghanaians to go to the polls to elect a new president and 275 members of parliament. Now, with the general elections away, now we're going to know, at least all things being equal, by December 7, 2024, we'll have a new constituency. And that's a Guan constituency. So we're going to have 276 MPs. Both the major political parties as NPP and NDC and also the other parties have been going through the process of having elected or about to elect their flag bearers. Well, what is left to complete the ticket is their running mates. The National Executive Committee and the National Council of the governing New Patriotic Party have today been meeting to discuss potential running mates for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The meeting is expected to examine some individuals who have been penciled as potential persons to partner Dr. Bawumia for the 2024 elections. General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodia Frimpong, spoke to the media a while ago on this particular issue. Take a listen.
Today being the 6th day of December 2023, the New Patriotic Party, National Executive Committee and National Council held an emergency meeting. In the emergency meeting, it was agreed by NEC, which is in charge of parliamentary primaries of our party, that the date for the sitting members of parliament primaries be varied from 20th January to 27th January. So the new date for the elections at where the party have members of parliament will be on the 27th of January 2024. So kindly take notice of that. Aside that, too, in line with our constitution, particularly reference to Article 13(3)(2), and I'll read. The vice presidential candidate shall be a known and active member of at least 5 years and shall be nominated by a presidential candidate at least 12 months before general elections when the party is not in government or the president is not the candidate. The National Council may, however, dispense with this requirement under special circumstances. From interpretation of this article, it presupposes that today should have been the day that our leader of the party and our presidential candidate should have presented his running mate to National Council. But however, upon request from the presidential candidate, that because his elections was done on the 4th of November 2023, he needs a bit of time to continue with his consultation before he brings the proposed name for running mate to National Council. And this was unanimously agreed by the National Council.
We're going to be hearing a bit more from Justin Kodia from POM, but let me just go onto the telephone now. And Dr. Asante is a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department, University of Ghana, Legon, is joining us. Dr. Asante, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. So this is the consideration of the National Executive Committee and the National Council of the NPP. They've given Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia more time to consult before selecting his running mate. I want to find out your take on this resolution.
So I think it's appropriate because if you look at the relevant provision in their constitution, that is Article 13(3)(2), it said that the National Council can vary that provision on certain grounds. So that is where they are coming from. So it is in line with the rules of the game. My understanding is that they want to really consult the more to be able to get the necessary feedback so as to make an informed choice.
I see, but also considering what has been going on, and you've been watching this space quite closely, the persons who have already started lobbying and people who are also making certain comments so they will be considered as well. Now, in your view, clearly Dr. Bawumia would have to be looking down south, but does it necessarily have to be the Ashanti region?
Oh, it can be anywhere. But you see, politics is not a beauty contest, if I may put it that way. It is a game that you need a certain strategic thinking being inputted into the system. So, for tactical reasons, I don't see them going beyond, let me put it this way. For tactical reasons, I think that two constituencies are critical. Asante and the swing regions. These are the two. They cannot go to, say, Volta region to want to pick a candidate from there so as to ginger voters. No. The voting psychology of Ashanti and Volta is clear. They know what they want and they decide on, and those things will not influence them. So if you really want to ginger people, get more numbers to the fore, then your best bet is that you place it at Ashanti region for MPP. Then, if you want to move beyond Ashanti, then it should be any of the swing region. That is what that's Greater Accra and Central region. Beyond that, it will be an exercise in futility.
You have been consistent in making the point that the economy is going to be a major determinant of the choices that people will make a year away from today, December 7, 2024. Now, considering the fact that Dr. Bawumia himself has his own burdens and baggages to carry with respect to the economic situation that we find ourselves in as the head of the economic management team, and then also some statements he had made and how he was presented by the NPP ahead of the 2016 elections as the economic whiz kid. What are some of the factors that should influence a running mate, a choice?
So obviously, you need somebody who is competent, because you are talking about somebody who should be able to step into the shoes of the president, in case the president is absent. So you need a competent person. Not only that, you need a popular person. And popularity, because we are talking, is a game of numbers. You need the numbers. Remember the electoral system that we have. It's a first past the post system. So whoever crosses the finish line by even one vote, the person is home and dry. So you need the numbers, somebody who is very popular. Not only that, but you also need somebody who can rub shoulders with anybody who emerges as running mate within the other political party. Beyond that, you also need somebody with less baggage. And let me also add that we are not saying that every human being is clean and that you need the cleanest person and all that. People have their own problems here and there, but you would want somebody with less baggage that when the opponent stands up on it, it cannot be used to run down the campaign of that individual. No. You need somebody with less baggage so that anytime that information about that person comes to the fore, it can be defended. Otherwise, the opposition can take advantage of it, run you down all the time. So instead of you having more time to campaign, you'll be answering questions on the person's baggage and all that. So that is another consideration you need. And you also need somebody who is marketable, somebody who appeals to the people, the groups within the country, the social fabric of the society and the rest of them. So it's a tall order that you need to consider in order to have a suitable person for that very important position. But I tell you, these things weigh heavily, right, in selecting that person.
And considering Dr. Bawumia's own personality, and his image and the baggage that he is also having to carry into 2024, how much of an impact would a running mate with all of these qualities that you have just outlined make?
It's the standard that I've given you is there. And if you look at Dr. Bawumia, the things that he has said, which constitute his baggage and all that, it's going to be a very difficult task for him, I must be frank about it. Because what we heard of him and the way the party projected him in terms of his economic prowess and all that, is that what we are seeing? That question will be brought to the fore for him to deal with, right? When we look at the things that we have gone through and for which reason today it has landed us in IMF and all that, it's a function of the economic management team who he presided over throughout this period. Questions will flow from there, and I'm sure he's lacing his boot to be able to address them. So there are a host of other economic questions that will come. And remember, which you have already alluded to, the economy is a game changer in all the things that we do, irrespective of party ideology, irrespective of tradition, irrespective of ethnicity, and all the variables you can talk about. Voters consider first and foremost the economy, because it is when the economy improves that unemployment, which is a critical index of voter choice, is also improved. When the economy improves, then infrastructure, which is a second important variable of voter consideration, is also dealt with. When economy improves, you realize that people have a means of livelihood and then they improve their lot. So the economy answers questions in the area of health, in the area of agriculture, and the rest of them. So it's going to be a tall order for them to convince people that they deserve a third term. It is true that they will play the card that, yes, if you look at now the little economic gains that are coming and the IMF report that the economy will see a turnaround gradually and all that, that will come to play during the campaign. But I can also assure you that the $1 million question for them is that, are they the one who caused that change, or is the IMF? That is the $1 million question that they need to answer. So all these things are going to influence voter choice to vote one way or the other. But from where I sit, I know it is a difficult one. If you look at even the campaign that was run, the November 4 campaign, and look at the issue that came out from Kennedy Epong and all that, the MPP even lost the election after 2022. And that we're still in the country as if there was no tomorrow. And that government flagship programs of 1D, 1F, it doesn't seem much. And they themselves coming out with all manner of things against Kennedy Epong and all that. All these things will come to play in the election. So I think they are in for a tall order. But I believe that they should be able to mash, put the acts together and come and tell Ghanaians something if these things are brought to their attention.
Dr. Asante, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Asante is a senior political science lecturer at the Political Science Department, University of Ghana, Legon. This is Hot Edition. We're live on KESME 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 and beyond. Now, Article 12B of the NPP Constitution states, and I quote, selection of the vice presidential candidate. The party's presidential candidate shall, in consultation with the National Council, nominate the vice presidential candidate. The vice presidential candidate shall be a known and active member of at least 5 years and shall be nominated by the presidential candidate, in this case, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, at least 12 months before the general elections when the party is not in government or the sitting president is not the candidate. So this caveat in the constitutional provision of the NPP's constitution is where the NPP finds itself now, that tomorrow is exactly 12 clear months to December 7, 2024, but Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has asked for more time for consultation because his election was just November 4. Now, the National Council may, however, dispense with the requirement under special circumstances. That is what they have just done. But if you've been following closely this conversation about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's running mate choices, there are a number of people whom we understand have started some lobbying, and others also consider that based on their own positioning are rather strategically working to catch the eye of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as a running mate choice. Dr. Yawse Duchum is the Education Minister, former Deputy Minister of Education. He's a Member of Parliament for the Bosomtwe constituency in the Ashanti region. He's a 2-term MP, first came to Parliament after 2016. That's Dr. Yawse Duchum. Then you have Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, who a number of people have put as the one in pole position to be considered. Minister of Energy, former Education Minister. He was the boss of Dr. Yawse Duchum during that period and the first term of President Akufo-Addo. Member of Parliament for the Menchia South constituency, also in the Ashanti region. Jose Wusu is the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Member of Parliament for the Bekwai constituency. He went as independent candidate at a point. And then also you have Osechi Mensah Bonsu, currently the majority leader in this 8th Parliament, the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, is the head of government business in Parliament. He's a Member of Parliament for the Swame constituency in the Ashanti region as well. Has been in Parliament since 1997. This is a 7-time Member of Parliament. And so you have a number of them from the Ashanti region. And then Kennedy Ejapong, after the running mate, that's the flag bearership race, put him second to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He also came into the conversation as a possible choice of running mate. That's why you hear Dr. Asante talk about the swing regions being one of the areas of consideration for the running mate choice of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We'll see how things play out. And as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has asked for more time, this is Justin Kodia Frimpong giving more details of the party and the National Council's decision.
But however, upon request from the presidential candidate, that because his elections was done on the 4th of November 2023, he needs a bit of time to continue with his consultation before he brings the proposed name for running mate to National Council. And this was unanimously agreed by the National Council. So this is what happened today. And the party also took the opportunity to also remind our party officers, particularly delegates for the upcoming presidential primaries, upcoming parliamentary primaries, of their duty to be members of good standing. And when we talk about members of good standing, it means they must pay their dues up to date. So this is what transpired today. Then lastly, the National Executive Committee also listened to requests from our members of parliament to suspend campaign activities in their constituents so that they can concentrate on our budget as presented in parliament. So then again, National Executive Committee unanimously agreed with that request, and I'm going to issue a statement to that effect by close of day to suspend all campaign activities in constituencies where we have sitting members of parliament until we open nomination. Thank you very much.
Also, just Kodia Frimpong there. So it's the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. You're live here on Hot Edition on 3FM. Also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and also W93.5 in Y and beyond. Let's stay a bit further with politics because the Ashanti Regional Branch of the Convention People's Party in the last few hours have been addressing the media on the seeming tension in the party. Now, this time, some members of the party's National Executive Council and the Central Committee have described a resolution to dissolve the National Executive Council as unconstitutional. The former Greater Accra Regional Chair of the CPP, Matthew Kwesi Obengboedu, addressed the press earlier today.
We attended NEC meeting. Unfortunately, what happens there is an assault and a disgrace to the CPP fraternity. We have a constitution that guides us in whatever we do in the party to address grievances and other things. We were called to the NEC meeting with an agenda, and what later transpired was we deviated and took some decisions which I personally disagree. You see, in our constitution, there is a provision that states that to remove a chairman and leader of a party, the general secretary, there are procedures you have to. The bottom line is that that person must be given a notice of 1 month for him to appear before and also ask questions.
So let's get a bit more into this because the person who addressed the press conference you're just hearing is joining us on the telephone, an executive council member of the CPP, Matthew Kwesi Obengboedu. Thank you so much, Mr. Boedu, for your time here on Hot Edition. First of all, hello? Hello? Hello, Mr. Boedu, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Boedu, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Great. Now, you are saying that even if there's some grievances that members of the party have, there's a procedure they should have employed instead of what happened yesterday that led to some altercations during your meeting in the Ashanti region. What exactly is the procedure that they did not go by, these persons who were not too happy with the National Executive Committee of the party?
Thank you very much. In the first place, NEC is the third highest body of the Convention People's Party. We have the leadership, we have the Central Committee, we have NEC, then we have Delegate Congress. Now, per our Constitution, if there's any grievances against any national executive, first, you have to go to Central Committee. Even if there's a petition, you go to Central Committee. Central Committee refers it to Discipline Committee or Legal Affairs Committee. If they're able to establish any wrongdoing, then Central Committee now refer the issue to NEC. And by that time, the Constitution says that a 1 month notice should be given to the person involved before next meeting. So if there's any problem, then Central Committee should have informed by writing to the person that, okay, this is a case against you. This is the outcome of discipline committee that start on this. Or even this is the case against you. So next month, this date, we are going to meet at NEC. Then at NEC, per our constitution, 2/3 of delegates, NEC executive who meet, have to vote and accept whatever punishment or whatever next step should be done. Now, the NEC that we attended yesterday, the agenda we have does not have anything concerning any executive. Our main concern was to deliberate on how are we going to improve and amend our constitution, because there are some clauses which are at least its purpose. We were in the meeting, and all of a sudden, they flashed a petition that the national chair and leader has done this, has done. So therefore, we are going to remove her. If there, I said, no, this is wrong. Whatever it is, we have to go through the procedure. Now, even if NEC even accept by 2/3 majority that then the case have to be referred to discipline committee, which will be set up by the Central Committee. And even there, when the Central Committee sets discipline committee findings will be sent back to Central Committee to approve or disapprove. And if they approve, then this one, the next step is that we go to Congress, and then Congress will vote that we have suspended national executive or national chairman or that. You see, so for me, it is something we all know that if you want to do proper procedure, why? You can't hide something, then out of the blue, you bring it out, and then you said, we are voting. NEC doesn't discuss those issues.
Okay, so let me understand this. The bottom line is that the national executives of the party has not been dissolved. They still are at post?
What happened was that some of them voluntarily resigned.
That is the general secretary, for instance, Nanaya Jantwa.
Yes, he resigned.
And who else?
The national youth organizer resigned. The national organizer resigned. And the national treasurer also resigned. You see, but the national chairman said he is not resigning because if you are making accusation, you are accusing me, you have to give me the opportunity to meet other discipline committee or anything before you can tell me I have resigned also. So there was an agitation which people refuse to reason, and I caution them. What you are doing, it will lead to court. You see, okay. So my worry is that I'm not holding brief for anybody, but the procedure must be cleared. Because look, this thing has happened in our party before, in 2016, against our national secretary and then our national youth organizer. You see, and at that time, the Central Committee who met, there was no agenda for any interdiction or anything. Only somebody has to move an emotion and say, this is what we want, and then not knowing they have planned it. You see, and I always regret about this. So I said, no, this is not proper.
Right. I see. So what's the next step for the party? I mean, the executive council of the party. Now that this has happened and these people are demanding the resignation or the dissolution of the entire executive council.
Yes, I understand. Council of Elders has released a press statement concerning what happened yesterday. So I have given notice that if we don't change this attitude, then definitely there should be a court case. Because you see, we have a constitution which must be abided by. You see, so what happened? I see as a coup d'etat, and we can never do coup d'etat in the democratic dispensation. No. In fact, I was there throughout the whole day in the meeting. And when these things came out, I called them, but they will not even listen. Thinking that, this one, if we make patapa, we can go. But you can never. The national chairman and leader still is the chairman of the party.
Okay. Well, I thank you very much. Mr. Obingboedu, you consider this as an attempted coup d'etat in the CPP Executive Council meeting. Thank you for your time. Matthew Kwesi Obingboedu is Executive Council member of the Convention People's Party. They have their own fair share of troubles they're dealing with on the petition by some members of the executive body of the CPP demanding the resignation of all the members of the National Executive Committee. A number of them have voluntarily resigned. The General Secretary, Nanaya Jantua, National Youth Organizer, National Treasurer of CPP, they've all voluntarily resigned. The national chair is saying that she is not resigning and she needs the appropriate forum to have those allegations against her heard. Stay with us. We'll get straight into Parliament now because there's some near brawl in Parliament over the LGBTQ bill. NDC MPs are accusing some majority MPs of fueling LGBT activities. Now, the proponents of the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill, also known as the anti-LGBTQ plus bill, are fuming over the inability of Parliament to take the bill at its consideration stage today. Now, the bill seeks to proscribe LGBTQ plus and related activities, propaganda, advocacy for or promotion of LGBTQ and related activities. It was all anger as Ningopa Mpram, Member of Parliament Sam George, went gun blazing in attack in Parliament a few minutes ago. Take a listen.
Today, as sponsors of the bill, the promotion of proper sexual human rights and Ghanaian Families Bill 2021, we are livid and angry, extremely angry at the conduct in the chamber today. This morning, the Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagby, called and said to all of us as sponsors that the bill was going to be taken today. The consideration of the amendments were going to be taken today. When we got to Parliament, he sent again to indicate that he wanted for all of us to be present. Since 8 a.m. this morning, we've been calling the chairman of the committee. I have been calling the chairman of the committee since 8 a.m. this morning. He refused to pick the call. He's not returned the call. The ranking member of the committee, Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, has been present in Parliament since 10 a.m. He was in the chamber when the mace came in with the speaker, ready for us to handle this. The speaker came in earlier this morning and indicated that he was going to take only one urgent question and then take the lane of papers, and that there was a very important bill, you can take the hands out and check, that had to be dealt with. But the speaker indicated that he also had a meeting he had to attend. And so when the speaker called the first deputy speaker, Honorable Joseph Osei, to take the chair, he indicated to him, and I state this on authority, he indicated to Honorable Joe Wise to finish with questioning and proceed to take our bill, the anti-LGBTQI bill. In fact, when the speaker went into his lobby, myself, Honorable Helen Ntosu, and Honorable Delasoa followed up with the speaker to find out from him if the bill will still be taken. Once again, the speaker, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagby, indicated that he had instructed the first deputy speaker to start the consideration, and that when he finished his meeting, he was going to come back to complete the considerations today. Because the speaker said he was completing the considerations today and gave those instructions to the first deputy speaker. Our frustration is that this is not the first time this is happening. It's not the second time. This is the third time the Speaker has given such an instruction and it has been disregarded in his absence.
So that's the livid member of parliament for the as Ningo Pram constituency, one of the sponsors of this bill, anti-LGBTQ plus bill, not too happy about how parliament is treating this bill. And the man who has sat through the entire process today as our chief parliamentary correspondent, Komla Kluche, is joining us on the telephone. For those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you've seen the details of that video, Sam George addressing the press not too long ago. We're live on Facebook at 3FM927. Come on, tell us a bit more. So what's been the next step that Sam George is talking about the sponsors of the bill considering?
Well, they are threatening that if they do not get any commitment from the majority side, because they are government, they lead government business, and they are supposed to table this for consideration. If they do not do so, well, they are left with no other option than to make the same MPs who are or have been supporting allegedly activities of the LGBTQ community. The more reason why they are unable to commit themselves to the passage of the bill.
Now, was there any indication, at least on the floor of Parliament, because we saw that Sam George raised this matter on the floor of Parliament as well. What was the response of the Speaker, Jose Usu?
Well, the Speaker asked for indication. What it means is that what should be the next item that they should tackle. But when the Deputy Majority Whip, Lydia Larson, stood on a feet, she indicated that, well, there was nothing that they were going to consider, even though it was listed on the order paper today to be considered. At the consideration stage, it was not done, and so what she did was just to indicate to the Speaker that there was nothing more they would do, but then they should go for an adjournment. That was what infuriated Sam George, and he had to back out. Then shortly after that, he had called the press to address them. Whilst addressing them, Lydia Larson and then a few other NPP MPs tried to beckon them not to engage the press. That attempt infuriated them and got them very, very furious. And they actually incurred the displeasure of the NDC MPs on the sponsors of the bill.
See, Komla, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Komla Kluche is our chief parliamentary correspondent, giving us updates of this particular issue happening in Parliament now. And this is exactly how all of this started on the floor of Parliament when Sam George was not happy about this anti-LGBTQ plus bill being ignored for the last 3 weeks, even though it has been on the order paper of Parliament.
It has been very productive. We've covered so much for today. That's about all for the day. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, as one of the sponsors of the promotion of proper Ghanaian family values and sexual rights Bill 2021, the Right Honourable Speaker indicated this morning that that bill will be taken. We want to find out why the bill is not being taken and why it's not being taken and why we are moving for the closure. Is the other side opposed to us continuing and doing the consideration? It's been on the order paper for 3 weeks. If you are not opposed to it, Mr. Speaker, we are here. The Speaker himself indicated when he was handing over to the first Deputy Speaker that we should take the bill. He's going to meet some guests and return to the House to complete the amendments on it. This is something that will take us 1 hour for 3 weeks. What is the problem of this august House with dealing with this bill, which matters to the Ghanaian people? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to know if there is a problem with us taking this bill once and for all. If there is no problem, let's take it. We've taken other bills with 4 people sitting in the chamber.
Honorable Sam George, you raised the issue, and you're arguing outside of it.
So that's what happened in Parliament and about this anti-LGBTQ plus bill. But let's stay with Parliament just a bit further, shall we? Because Parliament has established a special committee to investigate the non-payment of customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, despite the allocation of funds in the budget. This is after customers of the defunct company petitioned Parliament to look into the matter. Last week, the aggrieved customers embarked on a 32-hour protest to demand their locked-up funds from the finance minister, but failed to get a favorable response. The petition presented by Boko Central Member of Parliament, Mama Yarga, is seeking an inquiry into also to ascertain the reasons behind the government's failure to disburse the locked-up funds. Additionally, they are urging authorities to enforce the payment of the investments by government. And the NDC minority is saying the government must introduce a quota system to import items rather than a blanket restriction. The MPs who have been resisting the laying of the legislative instrument for the last two weeks say their resolve cannot stand the test of time, hence a demand for citizens' activism to prevent its laying. The Export and Import Regulations 2023 legislative instrument has been at the center of key parliamentary battles in the legislature over the last 2 weeks. The LI has been resisted by trade interest groups and the minority, arguing it will have negative impact if also on businesses and the available resources as well. The minority, most importantly, say it will be an avenue for corruption. The position reiterated again during the party's Moment of Truth series. Earlier today, minority leader Dr. Kesla Tuforsen, however, admits their resistance to the laying cannot hold for much long, hence a call for urgent action from the citizenry.
Iron and steel, diapers, polymers, which is plastic and plastic products, fish, sugar, clothing and apparel, biscuits, canned tomatoes, and aluminium products. As expected, these ill-conceived regulations have faced stiff resistance from the NDC members of Parliament, the minority in Parliament. Indeed, we, the NDC minority, have not been alone in this endeavor, as the business community and other well-meaning Ghanaians have joined us in opposing these restrictions, which clearly do not bode well for the people of Ghana. That in principle, the NDC is not against any legal regime or policy that seeks to protect indigenous businesses by regulating imports. What we are vehemently opposed to or against is a law that seeks to confer unfettered discretionary powers on a single individual, in this case, a minister responsible for trade and industry, to issue import licenses and to restrict the quantity of certain imports into the country without any checks and balances. Such laws often breed corruption and cronyism and can easily be abused to create a monopoly for some few individuals. As it is often said, power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, simple put, the proposed import restrictions regulation of the failed Akufo-Addo and Bawumia governments seeks to grant unchecked discretionary power to a minister for trade and industry to solely determine whether or not to issue an import license to a person and to restrict the quantity of certain imports into the country as he sees fit. Unfortunately, the regulatory framework proposed by the LI is not only opaque, but can lend itself to arbitrariness and abuse. This clearly is going to be an avenue for distortion and corruption if allowed to stand. And that is why the NDC minority do not believe that this should be allowed to stand. Also, the proposed regulation seeks to impose both an application fee and a license renewable fee on prospective importers. This will, in no doubt, impose an additional burden on businesses which are already wobbling under so much pressure from several draconian tax measures and the bad policies of the insensitive Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia government.
That's Dr. Kesla Tuforsen there. It's live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Right after this quick break, we go for the business news with Michael Obodo and the business team.
Get ready for the most exciting event of the year. It's the 3FM All-White Party. Join us on the 28th of December at the beautiful La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, starting at 7 p.m. Dress to impress in your finest all-white attire and be part of the ultimate celebration of the season. Live musical performances from some of the hottest artists in GH, fantastic DJs on rotation, and unforgettable moments await you at the 3FM All-White Party. Save the date and be there for an incredible night of fun and entertainment at the ultimate party this season. It's the official Christmas 3FM All-White Party on December 28th at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel at 7 p.m. Call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 for your table reservations today. Get ready to party in style at the 3FM All-White Party.
3FM, your urban.
Discover the Arabian charm and the Emirates this end of year aboard the magnificent MSC Virtusa cruise ship. We invite you, your family and friends to join us on a journey of discovery to Qatar, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Sarbania's Island from the 22nd of December to the 1st of January 2024. This all-inclusive package includes a 7-night cruise with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, entertainment on board, 2-night post-cruise hotel accommodation in Dubai, all grounds, transfers, and travel insurance, all visas and return flights. Call us now on 0308-251-055 to book this amazing offer starting from $3,990 per person sharing an inside cabin. Life is better at sea. Experience it.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. Coming up, hospitality businesses urged to capitalize on December and GH campaign. My name is Michael Obodo. I'll bring you the details shortly. Well, straight into our top story now. The CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Kwesi Agyeman, has encouraged hospitality businesses to capitalize on programs implemented by the authority in the lead up to the Christmas season to attract more customers. This comes as the authority launched its December and GH campaign aiming to entice tourists to Ghana during the festive period. Speaking on the sidelines of the National Tourism Awards in Accra, the CEO emphasized the importance of the industry's collaboration in maximizing the impact of these initiatives.
Already we can feel the vibe, we can feel the vibration. It's positive, and we're hoping that we can build on that from here. On the 1st of December, we hope to come out with further directives on how things are going with the visa on arrival, with the security situation, and the plans that everybody who is supporting us has in place. So it's going to be a very good Christmas, and I believe that all of us as Ghanaians must be ready to be part of it. Whether you're a business owner, you are a small business owner, a big business owner, just feel the vibe, be part of what is going on, and let's all make Ghana proud, because we can build our country through tourism. I believe that strongly. That tourism is a way to jumpstart our economy.
Kwesi Agyeman is the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority speaking. Then away from that, as the world commemorates International Day of Disability with International Day of Persons with Disability, the German Development Agency GIZ is urging Ghanaian authorities to intensify efforts towards enforcing existing regulations that guarantee equal employment opportunities for people with disabilities. Project manager for the EU-Germany-Ghana Joint Action on Jobs, Migration and Development, Alice Claridge, emphasized the need for a more coordinated and comprehensive approach She spoke on the sidelines of GIZ's support to private and financial sector program.
So I think awareness creation is a big point. I must say from my personal experience on an everyday basis, not only here in Ghana but also in Germany, people with disabilities and the obstacles they face on an everyday basis is really limited. People are not really aware because it's not discussed too much in the general public and in the open discourse. It's important that we have a day like this with media appearances so that also government institutions get reminded of laws, get reminded of the duties they have to deliver to the general public. It's our task to urge our political partners that they have to follow the laws, and they have to be much more aware of vulnerable groups, of people, in our case with disabilities, what they have to do for them.
That was project manager for the EU-Germany-Ghana Joint Action on Jobs, Migration and Development, Alice Coleridge, speaking there. Now, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, is calling on the Ghanaian government to pursue debt cancellation as a way to create enough fiscal space for economic recovery. This recommendation comes as Ghana continues negotiations with its external creditors to secure the second tranche of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) bailout program. Dr. Said Boache, speaking at a 2024 post-budget forum organized by IFS, urged that the Ghana's current debt burden is unsustainable and hindering the country's economic progress.
The debt restructuring program is good. At least it has given us a short-term briefing space. But the debt cancellation will give us a longer-term briefing space for us to begin to be able to fix our fiscal problem. We are so tight that the reliefs coming from the debt restructuring is not enough. So if we can, we need debt cancellation.
So that was Dr. Said Boache, an economist at the Institute for Fiscal Studies, speaking there, bringing an end to the business segment on Hot Edition. I'm Michael Obodu. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports, and Bill is on standby.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen. We're going to start off from local football. Hearts of Oak board member Vincent Soa Odote has rejected claims of poor player welfare at the club, insisting their stars are driving cars and building mansions despite their poor travelling CVs. The former parliamentarian claims players of the club are better off amid scathing pot shot that has been targeted at the Ghanaian Giants.
Before our building houses, they are buying cars, the players are well paid, we look at their welfare. I mean, I recall a video which was circulated just before the season, House of Oak players arriving at their hostel where they were driving cars. And we think that we have everything in place, which is necessary.
We have everything in place which is necessary. That is according to Vincent Soa Odote, who is a board member of Hearts of Oak. Now to some other stories. Ghanaian midfielder Bernard Mensah has been voted the Saudi Pro League Player of the Month for November. The 29-year-old beat off competition from Cameroonian forward Georges Kevin Nkudu to win the award. Now, Newcastle United and England goalkeeper Nick Pope requires shoulder surgery and is expected to be out for months. The 31-year-old dislocated his shoulder when he dived to make a save during the closing stages of Newcastle's 1-0 win over Manchester United on Saturday. Here is a reaction from the manager, Eddie Howe.
We anticipate he'll be operated on there's no doubt he needs an operation, so he will be out for a period of time. I think the operation hasn't happened yet, but we're thinking roughly around 4 months. So a big blow to us, but one that we expected after the game. As soon as you see the dislocation, we were fearing the worst, really. How is he? He's naturally down because, as you say, at the stage of the season where we have so many games, huge games coming up. He's got, obviously, the Euros ahead of him as well, which he was determined to try and be involved in. And there's still a chance for that for him. But I think his main determination is to come back for us.
Well, that was Eddie Howe, the manager for Newcastle. Now, later tonight, Manchester United will take on Chelsea at Old Trafford as they look to get back to winning ways. Managers Ten Hag and Pochettino spoke ahead of the game.
So against Newcastle, didn't play great. We knew that. We were not happy with that performance. But although we stayed in the game till the final moment, with a little bit luck, even we had 2 good opportunities in the end, so we could have even steal a point. So if we are a little bit more determination in such a moment, I think we could have taken something with it. But still, I think we are in a good direction. We are in the ranking. Of course, we dropped, but I think we are not too far away. So we are okay.
We're going to face a team that is going to be tough because for sure they want to win, and as we are a team that we want to keep our momentum, to build from Brighton and to be high on the table. And for us, it's important. If we want to be in a different position, it's a game that we need to go there and try to win.
Those were the comments from managers Erik Ten Hag and Mauricio Pochettino. Now, to some other stories, Harry Maguire has been named the Player of the Month for November. The Manchester United defender has beaten everyone else to the award. He was stripped of his captaincy just before the start of this season, and later on was, moved away from the squad and has come back to become the Player of the Month. Now, before I do go, here are the fixtures in the Premier League for tonight. Brighton will be taking on Brentford. Crystal Palace will take on Bournemouth. Fulham will take on Nottingham Forest. Sheffield United will be taking on Liverpool. Aston Villa will take on Manchester City, and the biggest one, Manchester United, will be taking on Chelsea. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen, and Alfred is back in studio. Alfred.
But why are you describing the Manchester United match as the biggest for tonight?
Oh, but it's the big one. You see, just because they are like 9th and 10th, that doesn't mean they are not big. They are two
that's
big
why
clubs.
I'm surprised you are describing a 9th and 10th
Wait, what club do you
teams
support?
match as the biggest.
What club do you support?
Manchester City, of course.
Hey, Alfred.
Why? I don't want heartbreaks.
You're a disappointed Chelsea fan.
I go where you don't give me trouble.
Oh, I see. Then go to Real Madrid, because
Man City, Real Madrid, obviously. Two different
leagues. Yeah.
So every league I have a team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's just that I'm so Mourinho biased that without any good performance from AS Roma, I am still a Roma supporter.
That's beautiful. I'm also a Mourinho fan, so...
Yeah, it works. It works.
It works.
Look, the Manchester United match is not the biggest. Manchester City match is the biggest tonight with Aston Villa. Aston Villa is
They're on the fourth. They're fourth.
And Manchester City is third.
Third, yeah.
If you're talking about a big match tonight between the third and the fourth, as against the 9th and 10th team.
But when it comes to history, United, Chelsea, you get it.
United will be relegated, I'm telling you.
So
relax.
So what will be the scoreline for tonight?
Between you and
the United Chelsea. What do you mean by me? I'm an Arsenal fan.
Oh, I see.
Thank you. We are lonely at the top.
Oh, Billy Shen, thank you. Thank you so much. And right after this, there's going to be an exclusive interview with Graham P.
Yeah.
I think you don't know if it's midget.
I can't tell.
Yeah, Graham P.
I can't tell.
The social media sensation Graham P was going to be here with AJ Sapong and the team. So stay tuned in. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your company. I am Alfred Ocansey. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. Have a great evening.